Lily. I'm 9 years old, and today I will read the book Sherlock's Homeless, the most brilliant readers. Sherlock Holmes is a puzzle. His mind is a puzzle. His mind is ordinary pieces and as sharp as a knife. Yet, in other ways, he is one of the ugliest people I have ever met. Not that I'm perfectly tidy myself, and I should be a doctor, but homeless drive me mad. When we live together, his cigarettes in the cool bucket and his tubercles in the toes of the slippers. His unswear post was fixed on wooden mantelpiece with a knife. His shooting habits were not much better. I have always believed that a gun practice should be done outdoors. Yet, Holmes was happily sitting on his armchair with his bullets by his side and covered the wall with engravings of our dear Queen Victoria. I do not think that our sitting room is important to have VR written in bullet hole. Plus, our rooms are always full of chickens. They had a funny ways of turning up in the butter dish, bathtub, or even worse place. I never forgot the time Mr. Husband served us tea that when they poured, it was fizzing, foaming, and bright blue. I didn't think she has ever been served from that shop. Most of all, farmers hate to destroy papers, especially those about the past case. It was only once every 2 years that I would bother to sort them out. Month after month, and his paper collection grew until every corner of the room was stacked with bundles. They could not be burned or put away by anyone except Holmes himself, or so he said. The winter night we were sitting together in front of the fires. Holmes, I said, turning to my friend, why don't you use this evening to do a little tidying up? He knew that I was right. So, with several expressions, he went off to his bedroom. He returned another moment with a large tin box. He put the box in the middle of the floor. I kneeled down beside it and pulled off the lid. I could see that it was already half full of bundle papers. Each was tied up with red tape. There are a lot of cases in here, Washington, he said, looking at me with a playful grin. I think if you knew what I had in this box, you would ask me to pull out some instead of putting the other in. We are record of your early work then, I asked. I often wish that I had notes of those cases. Yes, my friend, these all have been long before you begin writing about my case. Holmes lifted up the bundle after the bone of papers. They are not a success, Washington, but there are some interesting problems among them. There are records of the Charlton's murderers, and the adventure of old Russian woman. There was also full notes of rituals with cup food and a dread for a wife. And now, this is something a little unusual. Holmes dived his arm right down to the pile of paper and brought out a small wooden box, sliding with fillings. From inside, he pulled out a crumpled piece of paper, then came an old-fashioned brass key, a short wooden peg with a ball of string attached to it, and 3 rusting metal discs. Well, Washington, what do you make of this knot? He asked, smiling with an expression. It is a strange collection, I replied. Very strange, and the story of the string still. These items had a history then? I asked. So much they are part of the history, Holmes says. What do you mean by that? Holmes picked up them one by one, and laid them on the tables. He then sat down in his chair again and looked at them. His eyes shone respectful, as if he were looking at a golden trophy. These are all I have left to remind me of the adventures of the Mulgrave Rutiers, he said. I heard Holmes mention the Mulgrave Rutiers before, but he had never told me the details. Will you tell me about it? I asked. And if this room was in such a mess? He asked mysteriously. I smiled. I will gladly tell you about it. You can add the case to your collection. It is certainly different from any other crime record from this country, or any other country for that matter. Do you remember me telling about the affair of Gloria Scott? That it is my first case, the kickstart of my career as a detective. Nowadays, my name is known far and wide. The public and police force both see me as a man who can solve mysteries, but it was not always like that. I settled myself uncomfortably to listen to his story. I was trying very hard to ignore the mess. When you first meet me, Washington, I have always made a name for myself, although it was not a name that paid much. When I first came to London, I have a room in Monton Street, just around the corner of the British Museum. I spent 8 minutes, however, studying all branches of science that might give me a better at my job. Now that small case came my way, though mainly through an old fellow student. The third least case are the Mulgrave readers. It became a strange place, and interesting that people had it in it. That I became a detective today. We were robbed by the mistress her son bringing our suppers. Luckily, Holmes continued to speak as we ate. I think I was hungrier for the story than I was for the ham and the eggs. Brother mistress have been the same university as myself, Holmes said, and I knew he was excited. He is not very popular among the other students. They all thought that he was a proud person, but I believe that he was simply shy. He had a very fine appearance with his thin, high nose and his large, bright eyes. He is always very polite. He was a part of one of the oldest families in the country, in the manor house, Hurstland, and perhaps the oldest happiness in the building in Sussex. Whenever I saw him, his pale, keen face, or the elegant way he held his head, I thought that was a grand old house. The great archway and the protected windows swam into my mind. Once or twice we talked together. He often seemed me very interested in my detective work. Holmes and I finished our meal and went back to our chair by the fire. I couldn't think of a better way to spend a winter evening while I started into film, and Holmes resumed as detailed. For 14 years in the university, I saw nothing of Real Musgrave, and one morning he walked into my room in Monmouth Street. He hardly ever changed at all. He dressed very fashionably, and he had the same quiet, smooth manner that I remember. How have you been, Musgrave? I asked, shaking his hand. You probably heard about my poor father's death 2 years ago, he said. Since then I have a Hurststone house to manage. I also have members of the parliament, so my life has been busy. But I understand how Miss said now using her amazing power to work as a detective. Yes, that's right, I said. I'd like to hear it, he said, because I need your evidence. We have something strange happening in Hurststone. It is the odd baffling business the police not able to the explanation is. You can imagine how excited I was watching. I have been waiting for the months for an interesting case in my heart that I knew I could succeed where others failed. Now I have a way to test myself. Holmes paused. He was good at keeping me suspense. Give me a tale, I cried impatiently. I already learned forward my chair. Holmes held up a hand and I sat back. Realized my strength sat down the chairs opposite me and the very Washington. He told me his story. Goodbye everyone, see you next time.